If you ignore my exercise of these rights or attempt to obtain a waiver of such rights, then I want to talk to my attorney before any conversation with any law enforcement agency, especially concerning the subject of the waiver. I exercise these rights as guaranteed under the statutes and constitutions of this state of the United States of America.
Yeah, Mel Brown.
And you're the police chief of Arcata, correct?
Right, I'm the Arcata police chief.
Tell me a little bit about the card system that you have for the medically marijuana-issued patients of Arcata.
Well, we developed an identification system here about a year ago, trying to assist not only people who qualify under Proposition 215 as patients for medicinal marijuana, but also our law enforcement personnel. Under current law, anyone who has a recommendation, either orally or in writing, from a licensed physician can possess, cultivate marijuana for their own personal medical use. The problem we ran into was that it was difficult to confirm whether or not they had a medical recommendation, especially during non-business hours. when we come in contact with a lot of people, of course. And if we were to have the name and address or a name and phone number of a physician, there's kind of an uncertainty when you made the phone call if you're really talking to the doctor, if you could get a hold of the doctor. And if you think it's tough to call a doctor and get a hold of them, try it sometime. They're either seeing patients or reviewing charts, or they're not in, or they're on rounds with the hospital, or they're too busy to deal with you at the time. And you just can't go along and detain people for long periods of time while you try to process this. So we designed this pre-qualification system where I issue photo identification cards to people who live in Arcata who qualify as either patients or caregivers. So they can present that to our law enforcement officers in Arcata. And what that essentially says is I've already pre-qualified them. I've already checked with their doctor. So if they come in contact with Arcata police personnel for possession or cultivation of marijuana in a personal amount for medicinal purposes, the detention is over as quickly as it began.
I got this shirt for the ACLU. I assume they have more of them, but otherwise I'm going to try and sometime when I'm not wearing it, copy it. And make up some little wallet cards or something. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm the president of TRO, the rights organization. I'm a longtime civil rights advocate. I've been studying law for 4 years so that we can have some good lawyers who are not afraid to take on these controversial subjects. We have a few, but they're just totally swamped. In February, I'm going to take the bar, so with any luck. So people always want to know, people who don't live here, my family who live back east, if you're doing civil rights, why are you involved in all these druggies? And the answer is simple enough. Civil rights law and drug law is the same law. Every infringement on civil rights virtually that occurs in case law, when you start studying law and you're reading it, involves drugs. Every time the government steps on, encroaches, takes a little more rights away, it's because of drugs. So the war on drugs has turned out to be the war on constitutional rights. There's nowhere else for a civil rights defender to be except in the war on drugs. And I'm very happy that the ACLU finally figured that out and started coming out for that. And I'll tell you a childhood story. You like childhood stories? When I was very young, I lived in suburban Maryland. And my mother was a fan of Thomas Jefferson, and she told me about Thomas Jefferson and freedom and all of those things. And I grew up with this idea, which I've never lost, that if you can get all of the truth, you can make the best decision. And the only way you can get all of the truth is, if it's not against the law, to know the truth, to say the truth, and to experiment with things to find out what the truth is. So when you hear something like, oh, you can't have this drug because it's bad for you, or you can't have marijuana because of this, what happens is marijuana, a perfectly good cloth, right, can be made from marijuana, but it's illegal because they're so afraid you'll find out about what it does to your hand that they don't even want you to wear it on their body. It's a wonderful medicine, but they won't let you take it as a medicine because they're so afraid you'll find out what it does to your hand that they don't want you to cure illnesses. They don't want any good thing to come out. They want to suppress all of these facts so that they can achieve this end they've got, which is to prevent people from expanding their consciousness with marijuana. That is antithetical, yes, to the entire basis that this country and this society was founded on. And that's one of the reasons that I've been a lifelong advocate of legalization of drugs. So I feel like I'm on the cutting edge of civil rights when I speak at the legal defense benefit for the Cannabis Club here, because this is the cutting edge of civil rights.